What's up, folks? It is Friday Eve, Thursday night for those who like to keep track of the days of the week. And this week, we'll be rescheduling our guests. So you will see our guests in 2 weeks, only because we had one of our members that were feeling under the weather, and you'll find out exactly who it is here momentarily. So therefore, rather than having the panel that's not here, we'd rather have it rescheduled. So therefore, you guys can still get a show in tonight, as much as we like to put out our shows for the evening as well. But therefore, we have a show for the evening. Everyone can enjoy it, have fun with us and everything else. And you'll be able to call in tonight, in which I'll pull up the number here on the screen momentarily. So our scheduled guest for tonight will be rescheduled 2 weeks from now. So we apologize for any last minute rescheduling that we have to do. But nonetheless, we will have our national correspondent and our young Toronto Blue Jay who took the time away from his busy schedule to be able to make it on with us tonight. And we appreciate him coming on. So thank you to our young Dylan Spaulding. Will be with us. And we'll get into some baseball talk as opening day for the Phillies will start tomorrow. One team today had to reschedule because of snow out there in Minnesota. So it's a good thing and a bad thing when it comes to starting these games earlier during the year. When it comes to the North, bad part is the weather can be so inclement that you would have to reschedule. So good for the Phillies because it will be a chilly start for tomorrow. But the nice thing is, at least I don't believe there's any rain in the forecast for the Phillies game. So they should get it underway. We'll get into our discussion tonight. We'll get into probably some other things and maybe learn a thing or two that we like to do during our off time. So with that all being said, and by the way, one of these days with the intro music, I'm going to pop up one of the screens just in case, because our good and friendly here, fun correspondent for 2 shows in a row starts to dance. Last Tuesday, he got me pretty good because I was cracking up prior to us coming on air, and he started dancing again. So the dance moves by Ryan is something that one day you guys will have to see. So maybe we'll get a dance party going here one of these moments. But nevertheless, it is episode 128. I'm Angel, and welcome to Brasserie South. And bringing on the dancing machine himself, the dream machine, Ryan Neff. Ryan, what's going on? Listen, you're killing me, Smalls, with your freaking dance moves.
What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Same old.
There's a little bit to talk about. I mean, the Sixers are winding it down here. Phillies start tomorrow. I don't even know if we want to talk about the Flyers. I mean, I guess we can talk about the Flyers next week in the state they're in.
Yeah.
But there is some stuff to talk about.
No, there is. And I can see already one gentleman flashing his baseball up there from the Toronto Blue Jays, his official MLB ball. It is our young Dylan Spaulding, the newest member of the Toronto Blue Jays, but still sporting the Phillies gear. So great job by Dylan. Dylan, what's going on?
Guys, happy opening day. It feels so good right now to be a baseball fan. I have been watching baseball on my off day all day. It's not only opening day for Major League Baseball today and tomorrow, but tomorrow is the opening of the minor league season, as I am now the new music operator for the Toronto Blue Jays minor league team. So I will be bringing down the beats at TD Ballpark. So if anybody is in the area tomorrow night, 6:35 p.m. Eastern start time between the Bradenton Marauders and the Dunedin Blue Jays. And you can listen to me dropping those beats down as we're getting a W against the Bradenton Marauders. But guys, it's opening night. We got the Braves and Reds right now on tap. They're raising up the banner up in Atlanta. And I think for us Phillies fans, we want to try to knock out the champs and hopefully bring our title back to where it belongs, right in Philadelphia, where the Phillies deserve to have it. So we'll see what happens this season, but it's just great to be with you both here tonight.
No, listen, same here, Dylan, and you're absolutely right as far as, yeah, they are raising the banner in Atlanta. We get it. And then the funny thing is, this is probably going to be the next 2 nights for Atlanta. Today only because they're raising the banner is a sold-out crowd. We'll see what happens opening night tomorrow night, because we've seen it. Atlanta, which is kind of like one of those weird teams, and I don't get it. The fans don't show up during the regular season. And then we saw it during the playoffs. The only time they really came was basically the final 2 games there in Atlanta, which I just think it's funny. Listen, the Nationals, the Marlins, there's certain ballparks that you expect it from, but Atlanta's been around. I mean, they're a rich history team, and I don't understand like the fans, but they may get I don't know, throughout the regular season, maybe 100, 200 folks to show up at the venue. They made the brand new ballpark because they kept saying that the Olympic Park was too old, and that's the reason why people weren't coming. But that proves to be wrong because obviously people aren't coming to Atlanta either to the games during the regular season. So I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, let me butt into that here. So one thing with the new Atlanta stadium is it's at about 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. It's not in central Atlanta. It's in somewhere in Cobb County. So it's not in Atlanta. So it is a little bit of a drive. It's like the Rays playing in St. Pete. You know, you're really not playing in Tampa. You're playing in St. Pete. And I think that's part of it. But I'll tell you what, as much as, you know, the crowds haven't been where they are for the Atlanta Braves with their new ballpark, it's a beautiful facility. I mean, they have that battery that's really cool. Like, it's a bunch of restaurants. Like, that's what a lot of teams need to do. St. Louis has done it. The Rangers are doing it right now with their new ballpark. The Braves have that, and I think that's what a lot of teams need to start doing is building up the area around the ballpark because that's what brings people in. That's what brings commerce. That there's so much that actually can thrive if you build stuff around that ballpark, and some teams do, some teams don't. So I'll give props to where it's due. The Braves have done a good job in building around the ballpark and really making it a great fan atmosphere. But because it is outside of Atlanta, I do think that has to play a part of why maybe not as many fans are going. But now after winning the World Series, there's no reason for you not to show up. And especially this weekend, they'll get the rings on Saturday. So, you know, this is a big weekend for the Atlanta Braves. And it is cool to see the Braves win it because, you know, they've been kind of the lovable losers almost, if you will, for the last couple of years. You know, they had the World Series run. They're like the Buffalo Bills of the 90s, basically, in baseball. They had those World Series runs, but weren't able to get it done. So it's good to see them win the World Series last year. It's almost like underdog stories, even though as Phillies fans, it's hard to see the Braves win the World Series. But props to them for winning it last year with all the stuff that happened with that team last season.
No, listen, it's absolutely true. I can't not argue that one because that's absolutely right. And by the way, we are live here in Tampa, Florida, the LG Direct Sales Solutions Studios. So if you guys want to stop on by, which you can't stop by the studio, but you can call in on the PhillySportsTrips.com hotline, 813-553-1130, as you see it up there on the screen and always running on the bottom of the banner. But listen, it is opening day. This was a condensed version, as even our national correspondent knows, because of the unfortunate CBA when it came to Major League Baseball. We know in another 5 years from now, we're going to be going through this all over again. So I don't know. And we know that there's going to be your loyal fans that are going to buy tickets. Obviously, Fuji's going tomorrow. And he's going to opening day. And he'll probably end up recording some stuff there for us during opening day. But, you know, did Major League Baseball, and I know we kind of talked about this beforehand, did Major League Baseball really shoot themselves in the foot this time around when it came to these contracts, to what's going on, the elongated process, and then the condensed spring training, which to me, obviously, it's now becoming an injury bug for a lot of players.
Guys, they shot themselves in the foot back in 94. And then from 94 till the steroid era, I don't think they've ever recovered. And I don't think they're ever going to recover. I mean, let's face it. The NFL is king in this country right now, and it's probably going to remain that way. You know, it's really expensive to go to any sports venue anymore for any sport. But, you know, the 94 strike, then baseball just always seems to have problems going on. And if it's not this, it's this thing. And then they squash this thing, then something else arises. So Dylan can probably explain it a little bit better because I used to follow baseball. They lost me in 94, guys. I'll just be honest. Once they went on strike in 94, I sort of like washed my hands clean of it. And then when the steroid era hit, I was like, oh my God, you know, here we go again. So it's really, you know, and I don't know how Dylan feels, but it's going to take them forever and a day to recover.
I agree with that statement. I mean, that's exactly how I feel. And I think even now, too, modern day, if you're a modern day fan who's trying to get into the sport, you see, you know, the cheating scandal, that didn't help at all. And then you obviously had COVID and limited scheduling. So, you know, really, if you're a baseball fan just trying to get in the last, like, maybe 3 to 4 years, it's been tough to really get and follow this sport just because of all the stuff that's happened the last couple of years. And yeah, I mean, that steroid era was a crucial era. Not only did it bring fans into the ballpark, but it also brought out fans of the ballpark because of all the stuff that went on. And then everybody found out that they were using steroids, and it just put a bad rap on baseball. And then now with the strike, with the players union stuff going on this year, I mean, baseball is in a tough spot right now, and they're trying. I give them props when it comes to them trying to expand and go different areas of the different areas of the world, trying to make it a more global sport than it already is, which I give props in that end of it. But I mean, it, as you mentioned, Ryan, with the NFL and even like the NBA as well, they just have it's a different following. It's a better following. It's quicker pace. It's easier to get involved. It's harder to explain baseball to just a casual or even somebody who doesn't know the game of baseball. It's harder to explain it to somebody than explaining basketball or even football to somebody, because it's a little bit easier to help explain. I think it was a quicker game, and I also think it was an easier game for fans to get into. I think there might be more fans showing up at the ballparks, but right now, I mean, it's just not the case for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you can't, no matter how much is said, you cannot speed up the game. I don't care who you are, how they say it, how they talk about it. You cannot speed this game up. It is what it is. You're going to take 4 hours of your evening, afternoon, whatever the game is, and you're lucky. Every once in a while, some games kind of speed through. You may get it within 2 hours. You go to 1 o'clock game, 1:05 start. Sometimes you get out of there by 3:05. It all depends. If it's a heavy run game, nope. If there's tons of foul balls, nope, be in for a long haul. My thing is that I've always been fortunate of when they've gone into extra innings, and then you almost hope at that point to get 2 games under one price, because especially if they're going 18 innings and it's made like really interesting, you want to see how long it could actually go before somebody finally scores one. I do like, though, that they finally got rid of that, to me, what seemed like nonsense, the extra runner to start in the 10th inning, because so many games. But
no, they're keeping that for 2022. They brought that back for 2022 because of all the stuff that happened. So that's staying for 2022 for now, but they might change it for next season. I'm just going to say that right now, they are bringing that back for 2022. That is getting kept.
Just real quick. In the preseason, the Pirates had a decent record, and I had all kinds of hopes for my Pirates, but today really put like a damper on it. Yeah. They lost 9-0. And once again, they're proving just to be a AA farm team rather than a Major League Baseball team. I know it's just one game. There's 161 left, but I really don't have any hope. There's just no hope.
Yeah, and the only hope that the Pirates had went away in the first inning when Brian Hayes had to walk off the field. So any hope that they actually had, no offense, Ryan. And listen, I'm a big Pirates guy too. Listen, I have a soft spot in my heart. Maybe not on this side or wherever I'm pointing at. Yeah, maybe not on this side of my heart, but on this side, even though I know there isn't a heart there. Listen, I have a soft spot for my Pirates, and that was sad to see Brian Hayes leave, especially because he's on one of my fantasy teams, which I have 4 heading into the Major League season. So,
and I know I give Philly fans crap a lot of times and stuff like that, but I'll say one thing: that's one sport I can't. I can't do it because the Pirates are just so bad.
Yeah, it is pretty rough when it comes to the Pirates. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if you had to predict, Rick, I'm going to get your comment here in a second. If you had to predict, Ryan, the record for, matter of fact, I'm not even going to say for the season. Let's go just for the month of April, and then we'll come back in the month of May and talk about it. What do you think the record would be just for the month of April for your Pittsburgh Pirates?
It's kind of funny because all the rankings, like from the so-called pundits, from like outlets and stuff like, they don't actually have the Pirates being the worst team in baseball. I don't know who the distinction really belongs to. The Pirates sort of like backed it up today. Right. If the Pirates can get out of April being 500, I will jump for joy because we're already ahead of the game. I don't see it, but if they can finish 500 for the month of April, I will be happy.
No, we'll see then. Rick says, I went to the game against the Blue Jays and Phillies on the 27th in Dunedin and was surprised how nice the park was redone. Not sure if Dylan was the guy in the seats behind home plate wearing Nike sneakers, but if so, that's a big boy. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
That was probably not me. I was actually in the press box, so I'm in the press box for most of my job. So that was most likely not me. But if you saw the balls and strikes that were put up the board, that was me. That was me controlling that. So if you were at that game and you saw the balls and strikes put on the board, that was me. So,
well, what I will confirm is he's not big as in this way. He is tall as in that way, because as I said a couple of shows ago, when I met Dylan down here in Tampa, it was like looking at the evergreen forest, because all I could do is just kind of look up like, does it keep stopping when it comes out of the car? But Dylan, height-wise, he could be easily a super center for a team. So if anybody's looking for a 6'7" guy, Dylan's your guy, in case you need it for your team there. Saw the score. 2-10-5 Phillies. Yeah, exactly. The Phillies ended up winning that one. And also the season also starts for the Clearwater Threshers come tomorrow as well. So for those who on Friday night, and the great thing about minor league baseball down here in Florida, one is the weather's going to be fantastic. It's going to be the mid 70s, which is rare. We're actually below what we normally are, but it's going to be 75 degrees all weekend long and no rain. So if you're planning to go out to catch a game Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, you guys have tickets available for both, obviously, the Dunedin Blue Jays and for our Clearwater Threshers. And it's always a good time. And tickets are really inexpensive. It's good for the family. It's a lot of fun. And plus, you get to see other team fans that may not be with the Phillies. You know, it could be, especially when the Rays come into town. When the Rays, Yankees, and when the Toronto Blue Jays come to town, as far as at the Spectrum Field, you'll see the fans show up. But TD Bank Ballpark, it is really nice. I will agree. And it's right in the heart of Dunedin. So once you're done with the game, well, let me retract that. If it's a late afternoon start, depending where you are in Dunedin, you might be able to grab a bite to eat afterwards. But if it's a mid-afternoon game or an earlier start, then you can hop on downtown. I mean, it's just, 4 or 5 blocks away from downtown. Yeah. Walk downtown. There's plenty of bars and restaurants to go to. Get your, flavored ice cream, you name it. There's tons of stuff to do in Dunedin. Same way at Clearwater. Now, you do, if you leave from Spectrum Field, unless you say you leave at 9:30 at night, you can go down to Clearwater and then get all the, consumptions that you would like, food and beverages. I won't say anything else because I don't want to get in trouble, but you can get other things other than your normal ballpark stuff. Yeah, but it's always fun. Opening day is always a lot of fun, no matter which way you look at it. If you're a baseball fan, you always look forward to it. If you live up north, it kind of makes you feel like the spring weather is coming soon. So that's the nice part about it. But if you live down here in the Tampa area and St. Pete and everything else, you get the same vibes too, except for you are enjoying the warm weather in the springtime. But I did see Dylan as well. And now that the new mayor of St. Pete stated today, they had a meeting yesterday, and he's still keeping St. Pete in the run for the Rays, so the Rays can stay in town. And from what it looks like, there may be some new, new plans as far as what to do for a ballpark. Because remember, where Tropicana lies, they're thinking about redoing that whole entire area there to add more housing, a couple other things. And so now it's which place in St. Pete they decide to relocate the Rays.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, right now with the Rays, I can't get on board with anything until something gets signed pen to paper. I need to have something in the works, actually on a piece of paper, and I need them to sign saying that they're going to build a new ballpark in whatever city. I don't care if it's St. Pete, Tampa, I don't care. They're building a new ballpark. They just got to get something figured out. They got to get a city figured out first, and then they got to get a ballpark figured out. I mean, they really have to figure that all out right here in these next few years. I mean, they got some big decisions to make. And actually, funny enough, 95.3 did an interview with Matt Silverman, who's the president of the Tampa Bay Rays. And he actually said in the interview, he said that he would prefer Tampa over St. Pete. He said that he likes the area. There's a lot more businesses, especially in the Ybor City area. It's just it's a good spot to have the Tampa Bay Rays ballpark in. But he said he's open for anything. He's open to put it wherever, there's an open plot of land and wherever they can, they can think where they can actually have success and, actually thrive in that area. So I'm kind of right now just waiting on whenever they're actually going to make an official announcement, because right now they're just throwing stuff out there and nothing's really getting done about it. It's just, I need to see something on pen and paper, and I need to see it written out and, signed and stuff before I can get my hopes up about a new ballpark here in Tampa. But I hope that they do, because I think as a baseball fan, not only will it be amazing to go to a brand new state-of-the-art ballpark, because I've never been to a brand new ballpark outside of like maybe a few different ones like Washington in Nationals Park up in Washington. But I mean, I would love to go see a brand new ballpark in this area, because I think this area deserves it because of how good this Rays team has been the last couple of years. And I think how good the city has been. I mean, it's really boomed here in the last few years, especially with a lot of the sports teams helping out and, really treating this kind of big boom we've had here in the Tampa Bay area.
No, you're right. And Rick, yes, it is Baycare Park. I believe me, it's a bad habit to break as far as Spectrum Field, but I guess because we're all used to it. But yes, it is Baycare Ballpark now. Listen, the irony, I think, with St. Pete, because Rick Kreisman kept saying that he didn't want to keep the Rays there. It was going to cost the city too much, everything else. And I think for a lot of fans, they wanted to keep it there in St. Pete. Now, Tampa would make a lot more sense because of Ybor City. There would be a lot more to do as far as between there. Then you also have Sparkman Wharf as well. So you can take the train, the trolley over downtown, and then even though it's still free at this point, pretty soon they're going to start charging. But for me, I think Tampa would make more sense. And I think if you could have somehow how to relocate the Yankees, the spot over there right across from Ray J would have been perfect, because you would have had at least ample parking around there, just like they do for the Bucks game, where you don't have to worry about kind of redirecting a lot of things.
Yeah, and they actually had brought that up. I don't know if it was Steve Carney had brought it up. He does a lot of the Rays coverage. He was with 95.3 for a while. He ended up leaving. But no, he actually brought that up, saying maybe they could build something, in like that plot of land next to Ray J. And then what they would do is they would move the Yankees out of Tampa and move them to a different, area or whatever, because obviously that would be kind of clashing if you have the Yankees, farm team across the street from where the Rays are playing. That would be kind of interesting. But I mean, they gotta, in my opinion, they have to move to Tampa. I think that's almost inevitable. I think if they build a new ballpark and they build it in Tampa, just think about this. There are going to be celebrities who are going to want to come to that ballpark because it's in Tampa. You got all the sports success that we've had. You've got this city that's beautiful. It's downtown and near the water. I mean, there's so many things that Tampa brings and offers. There's no celebrities right now saying, hey guys, let's go to Tropicana Field and watch the Tampa Bay Rays take on the Yankees or the Red Sox. The only reason they'll be going is because to see the Yankees or the Red Sox, not to see the Rays and Tropicana Field. So they need a new ballpark, because not only will it be great in whatever city they decide to put it in, but also it's going to bring in a lot of faces, and it's really going to give, I think, the area credibility as well.
Yeah, no, agreed. So if I guess we switch the picture here from Major League Baseball opening day, and I'm not even going to get into who wins the East or anything else, because obviously it's only day one of the opener. I know a lot of the local stations and obviously your ESPNs of the world and everything else, they love to get into it. It's not the same like it does in football. Football, you already know you're talking about 17 games. So yeah, you can make a prediction for that. 162 games, anything and everything could go wrong or everything could go right. But I did see, and I know, and don't know if it's true or not, to credit the Drunk Phils fans on their Twitter handle, I noticed that Gabe Kapler had a tattoo on his left hand, what it seemed like, which would be kind of, I guess, ironic for Gabe to do something like that. But I'm wondering if that's true or not. If old Kapler here, the former manager for the Phillies, almost seemed like he was going to take the Giants to the World Series last year at the run he was making. But I don't know if it's like a flower or something, but it was up there. Matter of fact, I'll try to see if I can find it here while I'm talking about it. But it was the most bizarre thing, and I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me see if I can bring it up. I can find it from the Drunk Phils fans again. Thanks to them to put it out there earlier. Nope, there it is. So let me bring up my screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here. And Gabe, I don't know what this dude's doing, but then again, I don't think he knows what he's doing either. You guys can see up there. I don't know. Maybe I can make it a little bigger. Here's the hand. And I can't make out what in the world it is. But if it is, it just seems kind of bizarre for Gabe Cabbage to do something like that.
It looks like there's a date angel at the bottom. I don't know if that has any significance, but maybe somebody in his family passed away. I could see a date at the bottom. It could be somebody maybe passed away, or maybe his wife or something on his hand. So I'm not too sure, but I do see a date at the bottom. So it might be something to do with maybe somebody passing away, maybe during COVID or something like that. Maybe he had something to do with it. Maybe the flower was like their favorite flower or something. So I just a thought out there. I just noticed that date at the bottom of the hand there. So maybe that's something that has to do with that tattoo. I'm not too sure though.
Or he was bored. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, that could be also possible as well.
Could very much well be. And for those who are listening to the audio download here after the show, if you guys go to twitter.com and look under Drunk Phil's Fans, you'll see the same picture that we've been talking about. And it might be a couple of days before people hear the audio download. But yeah, it just I thought, but you're right. Maybe it is some sort of significance. And I haven't heard anything from Gabe much during spring training, anything else. So maybe he'll come out and say something. I'm pretty sure if ESPN gets wind of it, I'm pretty sure by tomorrow or Major League Baseball will say something.
So I'm just reading here. The tattoo displays a giant rose, thorny leaves and all, with the date 12/20/20. The tattoo has strong significance to Kapler as it memorializes the day his father died.
Okay, well, there you go, Dylan. How about that? Gee, any insights that we need when it comes to tattoos, we will go to Dylan, Toronto Blue Jay Spaulding, and he'll give us all the insight when it comes down to it. So, man, good job by you. See that?
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. That was a lucky guess on that, but I appreciate that.
But listen, you never know. But now we know the USFL is going to start here shortly because this will start here towards the end of April. We know the draft is also coming up here at the end of April. But before that, the Sixers are looking still pretty good. But there's a lot of, again, speculation. I think we talked about it here on Tuesday night as well. Is Doc Rivers possibly on the way out? But even if he is on his way out, right now we're just enjoying the team success when it comes to the Sixers, because the Sixers right now, if the playoff picture looked at this point in the standings, you would have Philly versus Toronto, and we know how that worked out the last time around. So Ryan, I will go to you because that was, I think, probably one of the bigger heartbreaks that I've seen in Philly history in a good long time. Other than that devastation was called the Flyers. But you're talking about Philly, Toronto, not the same team that obviously won the NBA championship that year. But could we see the Sixers actually finally winning and moving on to the next round by taking care of Toronto if the playoffs started today?
I got to tell you, that's a tough matchup. It really is, especially if Thibault can't play when they go to Toronto because of the mandate, because of the vaccination mandate, and that's all come out now. They might be in trouble. They're going to be okay at home, I think. You got to protect home court. I'm nervous for the Sixers, to be quite honest with you. You just don't know which bench is going to show up. You know, is it the one that scored, 40-some points against Charlotte? Or is it going to be the one who scored 8 points against Detroit?
Right.
I would say you would hope to think that the Sixers will probably get out of the first round, probably win 4 games to 2 games. But again, I'm worried the Sixers starting 5 is going to have to carry the load. There's just no way around it. Unless all of a sudden the bench finds fire under their butts. I don't know. Doc has shown a propensity for not going to the bench because he just doesn't trust them. That's been proven. So I think they'll get out of the first round. It's the second round and beyond that's got me worried for them with the depth.
Because you got right now would be in Miami. And again, because you're only talking about 2.5 game difference from first. And right now there's about a 3-way tie going into it. So Miami would be your number 1 seed. I don't see, and it's just me, hypothetically, I don't see Miami going any further than the first round. Even though right now on record it shows obviously they're 52-28, and who knows, they could end up making a run. I think they've been clashing a bit here towards the end stretch coming into the playoffs. And usually when players and coaches seem to clash, it's only, I think I've seen it work once with the Lakers, but the Lakers again that's been a successful organization for many, many years. I don't see that with Eric Spoelstra down there in Miami. And I could be wrong. Jimmy Butler, I know he wasn't too happy not too long ago. So it would be interesting to see if Miami went and passed it first. But you would have, at this point, Miami would be the first seed. The AFC would be a play-in between either Atlanta and Charlotte, and then Cleveland and Brooklyn. Then you got Milwaukee versus Chicago, and then Boston, and then, again, waiting the 7th seed to see who ended up playing in. The play-in tournament, to me as well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a big fan of the play-in tournament. I think the way it was done before was a lot better. This play-in tournament, to me, I don't know if it's just something with the NBA to try and get more ratings or tickets or whatever keeps me be. I don't know how you guys feel, but for me, I'm not a super fan of a play-in tournament.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I mean, you look at this, and you look at the records too. I mean, it shows like there's no good teams really getting into this play-in tournament. They're all like under 500 in the standings. Like if you look at the records from these teams, it's rough, So these teams are going to be basically going into the first round and then losing in the first round most likely in like a 4-2 series win or 4-1, whatever the case may be. They're going to most likely be losing in the first round of the playoffs. So I'm not a big fan of this. From what I heard, this was kind of a test run to try and see if maybe they could do a play-in like a in-season tournament for some reason. I don't know what that was all about, but I'm not a big fan of this. I think it was perfectly fine the way it was. It was already exciting when it was just 1 through 8 making it to the playoffs. And there already is bad teams that make it to the postseason already, even with the 1 through 8 seeding. So I don't know. I mean, the whole play-in thing is just weird. It feels like there's too many teams now making it to the playoffs. So like baseball. In baseball's situation, they had too little teams making it to the playoffs. Now with basketball, there's too many teams, it feels like, making it to the postseason. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this whole play-in tournament, in my opinion, but we'll see. Maybe they'll change it, hopefully, here in the next year or two.
Yeah, the play-in game are idiotic, just like they are in the NCAA tournament. You know what it's about?
Yeah.
It's just an extra way to make money. That's all it is. I don't understand the concept. I could equate it to NASCAR, Angel, where the stages are stupid. Just race the race the way they're supposed to be raced. So, but it's just a way for the owners to make more money. And just like with the 17th game in the NFL, it's just extra cash in their pocket. That's all it is.
Now see, I actually enjoy the stages, and here's why. Because I think it gives drivers who, say, like a guy like Joey Logano, say he wins 2 stages and then he crashes out in the final stage. He still got stage points. I actually enjoy the stages. I think it's actually beneficial for the drivers because if they have a bad race, I mean, they at least get points finishing out. If they finish out in 40th, they're not getting very many points, but at least if they finish with those stage points, those goes a long way when it comes to the playoff push. So I actually kind of like the stages. I think it makes things interesting, especially when it comes towards playoff time.
He's young, Angel. He's young.
Exactly. No, I'm the same way too, Neff. I'm not a huge fan of stages. And I understand it. When it comes down to sponsorship and everything else, because they're somewhat trying to make it equal across the field. But if your car set up is not where it's supposed to be, I don't care what sponsor you have for that race, no matter what. It's not going to be the same. Now it seems like the next gen car, or if you want to call it the car of tomorrow part 2, whichever way. I guess it seems like it's had early success here. We haven't been through all the tracks yet, so we don't get to see exactly what's going to end up happening. The road course changes a lot of things. I mean, short track changes a lot of things. So we'll see. Talladega Super Speedway, that's completely different when it comes to Daytona. So we'll see how all these cars end up handling. So far, I guess the fans have been appreciating it and they've liked it. I guess the drivers as well. They've kind of liked it and have become accustomed to the car, to say. The manufacturer's advantage, I don't think there's anyone, Ryan, that I can think of that's doing a major pull away, because even if Ford is having success early, we've seen Toyota, when they come onto the scene, the TRD group starts to pick up where Ford is doing, and then we see Toyota end up taking over. The only one that I haven't seen fare too well yet is Chevrolet.
Well, with the next gen car, they wanted parity. I think they've gotten parity. There's sort of a youth movement going on in NASCAR right now. If you look at, the past winners of the races up to this point, it's really been a youth movement, other than Denny Hamlin winning this last race. They're still having a bunch of tire issues. I don't think they thought that they would have this many tire issues. They're also having trouble with brakes a little bit. That's been an issue. So, I mean, there's still kinks to work out. But the one thing that NASCAR said that they wanted with the next gen car was the parity. Up to this point, they've gotten the parity they desired.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be, I like to see what's going to happen midway throughout the season of where we stand, where the manufacturers stand, where the drivers' stance are. I mean, I want to see in NASCAR. Once they hit the height and they start going through all these goofy little changes and everything else, to me, the stages took away from the fans who you're already starting to lose. Granted, of course, a lot of your great historical drivers are also going as well. So, the new bunch are coming through. They got to get their feel. We still, thank God, have the Bush's brothers there, but, it's going to be long before they decide to retire. So, it's just, I don't. As much as I love NASCAR, it's just not the same when you're talking about, obviously, God bless Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. I mean, you're Bill Elliott. It's not the same. Mark Martin. It's not the same feel. It's not the same vibe. And I know we got to go through the changes and the errors and everything else like we're seeing with the NFL and everybody else. But to me, I don't know. Take away the stages, and you may end up having me back here full time. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. And who knows, probably going to start offering bonuses for all we know when it comes down to it. But so the NBA, we already know we're only 2 games away, I think, from most teams before the playoffs start come next week. Obviously the Lakers, as much as they continue to cry, well, I'm glad they're crying a whole bunch because they're out officially. But this is, to me, what happens when you try to put superstardom all under one roof. Russell Westbrook, LeBron, Carmelo Anthony in there as well. And then it's amazing to me that LeBron James, he doesn't accept any freaking blame. Dude, you're getting older. You're at one point in your career, yes, you had the run of the mill, but he's getting older and he doesn't even take it upon himself. Listen, I know I've been injured. I haven't been helping out this team or anything else. It's blame, point fingers, blame, point fingers, blame. And then the rest of the guys seem like they take it on the chin, well, if LeBron said I played bad, and I guess LeBron is right. And, I know people might say, oh, here he goes again. When it comes to LeBron, he doesn't like LeBron. I have no hatred towards LeBron. My thing is he doesn't take accountability anymore for himself. And I just don't understand it. The Lakers, they're going to have to go, you're going to rebuild. I mean, what's the average age right now on the Lakers? 37.5 with all the players they have? You're not going to win championships when you're looking at 37, 35, and 33.
I think what derailed the Lakers was Anthony Davis being hurt for a period of a time. I think if the Lakers are smart, they'll do Anthony Davis a favor and trade him. But he is prone to injury. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, now and LeBron was hurt for a little bit of time this year too. I think both those injuries just derailed the season. So now I think it's time for the Lakers just to break it down and start anew. You're right. Sometimes LeBron will take accountability, and there's other times he won't. He was the one who clamored for this team to be put together. They put it together. It's not working out. And I don't think LeBron really wants to take accountability to be the bad guy in that sense, where he's like, okay, I put the team together, basically. They listened to me. We didn't deliver. He's shown that over his career. When the going is good, it's great. When it gets bad, he backs off it. So, again, I got nothing against the guy. The guy's one of the greatest NBA players of all time. But it's time for that organization and that team to just break it all apart. Everybody go their separate ways and they start anew.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. yeah, I mean, the Lakers, I mean, they got to restart fresh. I mean, they were starting fresh, and then LeBron came in, and then that changed the entire complexity of that organization. You know, they went win now. We got to win while we have LeBron, and that entire organization just basically blew up whatever they had in youth. And now look at it. Now they're one of the teams. They're out of the playoffs right now, and yeah, I mean, they have to restart fresh. They got to start, trading Anthony Davis while they can, and try to get whatever they can out of him. And then obviously with LeBron, I don't know where his contract sits and how many years he's got left with the Lakers, but they either got to trade him, or if he's a free agent, just let him go to free agency. He'll find some place to play. It's just hopefully it won't be in the West for the sake of the Lakers. But, it'll be interesting to see what will happen with this Lakers team here going forward, especially in this offseason. It's going to be really interesting to see how this Lakers kind of organization attacks this kind of core that they have built together.
Since before we get off the topic here, as far as an NBA, without the seeds being in there for the first round, it's kind of hard. I'll say before our next show and figure out from that point, because until all the seeding is done, we really can't make the prediction either as far as who we would believe, because again, you're just kind of based it upon, you got to wait for 4 other teams basically to be able to make it in there.
Angel, before you continue, can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
Just want to say real quick, this is a big news for the NBA. The Orlando Magic got eliminated from the postseason. Everybody, please cry. I know it's sad. Listen, the Orlando Magic were a sometimes dominant team, but nonetheless, that's my big news I have to share, and that's basically it. That's all I got for you.
Angel, I'll make my picks now in the NBA. I think you're going to see a repeat of last year.
Really?
It's going to be the Suns and the Bucks.
See, I don't think the Bucks will make it. I think the Suns will. I don't think the Bucks do. I really don't. I don't think the Bucks make it. It doesn't seem like there wasn't too much. I mean, obviously the record shows differently at 49 and 30. But I just don't. I don't see the same chemistry they had from last year. I don't see it. I could be wrong. I'm an idiot. What do I know? It's my own opinion, but I don't see it. If I had to choose between Miami and Milwaukee, I would see Miami advancing more than I would see Milwaukee advancing. But I don't think the Suns, yeah, definitely. Would I like to see the Suns win the NBA championship? I would love to see my Sixers do it. Is it reality? No, it's not reality. They're going to end up winning it. And I don't want, people say, you homer, whatever. You live down in Tampa. What do you care? To me, I don't think the Sixers have right now what it takes for him to win the NBA championship. Not this year, at least. But I would like to see the Suns win it. Why not? Every other team has been able to do so. So I would like to see it, especially for CB3, because he's been patiently waiting for something to finally happen. And I think he should get one before he retires, just like Barkley. Should have got one before he hung it up. So I hope so. But normally we get into other stuff here with a couple minutes left here in the show. I would like to, for as far as anyone and we thank everyone who's tuning in here, stateside, overseas, over in Australia. We do appreciate everyone who tunes in and downloads the audio. We can't do this stuff without you guys, and we do appreciate it. But something maybe that we do away from, obviously, the screen here when we're on all together, that it's either fun for something you enjoy or a hobby that you end up enjoying that maybe someone out there doesn't know. So, Ryan, I'll start with you because I see your soccer hooligan shirt on, but we know that you did spend time on radio beforehand. There's nothing new to you. We know you've done broadcasts before, so again, it's not anything new. But for something that you may do, or even just helping someone else, what is it that someone could say, you know what, I didn't know that about Ryan?
That I used to do a lot of theater, acting-wise. So done everything from regular plays to musicals. Now it's the older I've gotten, I'm not in the shape to do musicals anymore, running around stage and singing and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's one thing that people don't really know about me.
So now, what did that start like in high school, or is that something like you just kind of one day decided, you know what, I'll give it a try?
When I was in college for radio and television, and I always wanted to try just doing theater, just to play, just to get up in front of people and see what it was like and experienced. And I can tell you, all throughout my college career, It was my last semester in college, and I was like, the hell with it. I'm going to go for it. I actually took a couple of speech communication classes, and one of the guys that taught it was the theater director. He's like, you should go out. You should go out. And I was hooked, but I'll guarantee you, the first play I ever did in front of 600 people, I thought I was going to pass out.
Oh boy.
It was nerve-wracking to say the least. But when you get the responses from the audience, I mean, let's face it, it's just like being in Major League Baseball, the NFL or whatnot. You're in front of, those guys are in front of thousands of people, and it's just the rush and the sensation that you get. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing nobody would probably really know about me.
And for those who don't know and are still tuning in right now, if everyone is curious which college that our Ryan Neff attended, well, the most prestigious college, he went to Fuji University, and you guys, it's out on the Galapagos Island. It's very, very elite school, so that's where he went to, Fuji University, just to let you guys know. But so Dylan, which I see now is DJ Dylan Drip. So I'm assuming that is your name now when it comes to being the DJ for the Toronto. Well, I guess you're Toronto Blue Jays, but the Dunedin version.
I just made that up. I'll be honest. I made that up coming in here, so I wouldn't even say that's a official name, but we'll go with that. That's something I just came up on the fly with. But for me, and something that not a lot of people, I guess something that I guess a lot of people want to know about me, and I mean, obviously I have the DJ drip, but I'm a big music guy. I like to sing a lot. I'm a big singing person, so I enjoy getting to sing and listening to music, and I think that's one of my big things. I appreciate music and such, and I really enjoy getting to go to concerts and stuff like that. And I'm trying to get out to more concerts. Now that I work for a pro team and don't have to do media anymore and stuff, I'm going to try to go to more concerts. And I know Bon Jovi is going to be in concert next Friday, so I might end up going to that next Friday down in Tampa.
Man, that'd be good. There's nothing wrong. Now, have you ever done karaoke?
I have done karaoke.
Is the first time super nerve-wracking, or does it get better if you continue to do so?
Nope. I was perfectly fine. I mean, I was comfortable. In fifth grade, I did a talent show, and actually I got selected. So I did a talent show, and actually, I don't know if the video is still up. I'll have to look for it. But no, I performed in a talent show in my middle school. So for me, it's not nerve-wracking. I just think I'm used to being up on center stage and having a mic in front of me. That's why all my social media handles is Mic'd Up D-Spall, because I feel like I'm always in front of a mic somehow, some way. So, but yeah, I enjoy singing. I enjoy music a lot. So that's one of my, I guess, things you could say that not a lot of people know about me is that I'm a big music aficionado, especially a lot of stuff like with Bon Jovi and a lot of older rock and stuff. I'm big into that as well.
It's always good stuff. It's nice to see too when the Threshers have like a band or a DJ or something else at Baycare Ballpark. It's fun because it's set up towards left field out there by the restrooms and good Lord, what is the name of our team?
Frenchie's is over there. Yeah.
Yep. So that's nice when they put that together, especially the fireworks. And then I feel bad though, because this past weekend, by the way, was the Sandcastle Festival at Clearwater, but the storms and everything else kind of ruined it. So I don't know if they decided to schedule it for another week this weekend because it's going to be so nice. But it's a shame because usually they have a nice concert too on Saturday nights. We went there I guess it's 2 years ago. Prior to COVID, we went down there, and there was a guy who performed on stage, and I wish I had the picture. There was a silhouette that I'm taking a picture of, and it was the silhouette of like Kenny Chesney, like perfectly the way he does it, and ended up being a Kenny Chesney cover band, and they filled up the sand. I mean, there was a lot of folks out there. It was a great time, followed by the fireworks, but it was really neat, and I'm waiting for them to also bring back the movies on the beach, which is always nice on Fridays or Saturdays. So we ended up making a trip down there because it's always fun to end up seeing that. But for me, like I've been, for those who don't know, I've always been a nerd. And when it comes to like Marvel Comics, DC Comics, that's been my thing. I was a nerd in school. I used to put on, a shirt with tie. And if you guys remember the older ties that, what's the one it almost looked like a belt material, but it wasn't leather. It was, the fabric version of it. So me, my buddy Jose, his friends, Rudy, I mean, all of us, dude, in high school. So you'd imagine like you have the jocks that obviously knew they needed to play, but the grades weren't so great. And then of course they always called, hey, nerd, what's going on? And I want to say Jack to them for the most part, because I knew in the end they needed us. And then as the season progressed, like, hey, you think you help me out? Oh, now I'm not a nerd, huh? Now I can help you out. Yeah, I'll help you out. Some guys I help. Some guys I help fail. Because my thing was that you want to mess around with me so much, I can hit you academically instead of hitting you physically, because back then nerds don't freaking fight, at all. If we're going to fight you, it's going to be with a Commodore 64 and a printer and maybe some DOS systems and some floppy disks. But I've always been a nerd. I've always loved electronics. That's my one biggest downfall that I do like. But to me, it's fun. That's kind of like my away from everything. If I get into the tech side of the house and I start tinkering with different things and I start looking, like what's the latest gear? What can I learn new? That side, if no one knew about me, then you know it now. But I'm still a nerd. At the age of 51, I'm still a huge freaking nerd. And I don't mind saying that. Debbie knows it. The only thing I'm missing is a pocket protector here at the age of 51. If I can buy me a shirt with one in there, believe me, I can be like the Revenge of the Nerds and have it on there. But it's always fun stuff.
Listen, I know the feeling. So I probably should. I'll say this instead, as maybe some of the people don't know about me. I am a nerd myself, but for professional wrestling. I mean, WWE, AEW. I love ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. I mean, I'm a pro wrestling nerd. I've always loved pro wrestling. I've been to 2 WrestleManias in my life, which were incredible. I went to the Rock and Cena WrestleMania down in Miami. It was one of the most incredible experiences of my life, and I've always been a pro wrestling nerd. And I know in a few weeks they're going to be in Lakeland, so maybe I'll be heading to another pro wrestling event here in Lakeland at the RP Funding Center. But that's one thing I think maybe not a lot of people know about me is I'm a pro wrestling nerd. And I was watching Mania last week, and it was so good to see my man Stone Cold Steve Austin come back and stun and open up a can. Can I say it? Open up a can of whoop ass. Is that okay?
There you go.
Is that okay on live? Okay. So I had to say that, but it was. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and one thing I was gonna say, Angel, this weekend, I'm just excited for Florida State League baseball to be back this weekend. We got the Tarpons with their first ever female manager, Rachel Balakovic. That's gonna be incredible. And then you got the Clearwater Threshers and also the Dunedin Blue Jays, so I'll be working for as well this spring. But I was going to say that Tarpons game is going to be awesome because they're going to be broadcasting it on the Yes app, which is the Yankees broadcasting network. So that's going to be really awesome that they're broadcasting that game on a national platform in a sense. I just wanted to say that real quick. So before we all end up wrapping up the show.
Angel, just real quick, just the Masters this weekend. My pick was Dustin Johnson. He's sitting at 3 under. He's only a couple off the lead. But the 2 biggest stories right now, there are a lot of big names that are way behind the 8 ball already, shooting 4 over par, 3 over par. I was looking at some of the names that I can take a look at here. You have Brooks Koepka shot at 3 over, 69. Billy Horschel's 2 over. Brooks Koepka again 3 over. Bryson DeChambeau is 4 over.
That's surprising.
4 over. And Tiger Woods 1 under par. He's only 4 off the lead.
Amazing. Yeah, that guy. And I know Tiger Woods he's been through a lot. We obviously know how messy the divorce was. That we saw on TV, and that lady can sure hold a 9-iron. But that Tiger, I feel for him in a way because I know he's trying to obviously get a lot better. He had the unfortunate accident, which is thank God he was able to walk away. And even that one might have been a bigger wake-up call for Tiger Woods. But I'm glad to see he's back on the links, and it's good to see that he's in competitive mode because a lot of people missed him. If he would win the Masters, I mean, that would be huge, obviously, for Tiger because it would be one of the bigger comeback stories ever. Of any professional sport, and being the fact that he's not even back at 100% yet, and he doesn't even know if he'll ever be back to 100% Tiger Woods. But it's good to see. At least he's trying to put up a good fight, and you got to give it to Tiger Woods. So, and Dylan, as far as getting back to the coach for the Yankees there, I know she was hurt by a ball. I think it was, I want to say towards the beginning of spring training. Has there been any other updates from her as far as like stating how she's been feeling since?
Not that I have gotten. I'd imagine she's probably doing a lot better than when that ball hit her, obviously. But
Yeah.
She's going to be here this weekend, obviously. And I'm actually thinking about going next Tuesday to the Tarpons game. Angel, if you're free. Oh, wait, you have a broadcast on Tuesday. I was about to say, if you're free, I'll invite you out to that game on Tuesday. But no, I might be going next week at some point to the Tampa Tarpons game because I think that's such a big and monumental moment for the sport of baseball to have a female manager. And obviously she gets to manage one of the best prospects in baseball, Jason Dominguez, for the Yankees organization. So that's going to be a really interesting team to watch this season with the Tampa Tarpons, not only because of the storyline with the manager, Rachel Balkovic, but also with Jason Dominguez also coming back for a second season with the Tampa Tarpons.
Yep. No, it's true. And believe me, she's well deserving and well deserved of that position because she's been coming through the ranks and doing what she needs to get done as far as being in that position. So congratulations to her. We'll see. And it probably won't be too long, honest to God, before she ends up in the majors. And depending how everything works out for the minor leagues, she probably would be the first female for Major League Baseball to end up coaching a team. But we'll see. And it could be, if I had to guess, maybe within the next 4 years. I don't think it would even go in 5 years. I think maybe the next 4. She ended up moving up. I don't know if it'll be for the Yankees ultimately, but I can see her being, over there for now, the Cleveland Guardians, which is a goofy name for a team, but whatever. Because Terry Francona, I know he came back, and I know he's trying to do his best to hang in there as best he possibly can, but who knows? So good job by them. But everybody else, and you never know, Dylan, tomorrow night, since there is no Tampa Bay Titans game because they're on the road tomorrow night, they are on Sunday. So I may just end up over there at the at Dunedin at the TD Bank ballpark.
Come on, Angel. We're playing the champs tomorrow, the Bradenton Marauders, coming off their championship season. I have a good buddy who's a broadcaster for the team, and also obviously my other buddy who's going to become the broadcaster for our team, the Dunedin Blue Jays. So please come out, and I'll try to maybe meet you up before the game, or even after the game. I'll try to meet up with you, and we'll talk a little bit after the game. But that'll be amazing. If you come out, I'll try to send you a pic from where I'm at in the up in the press box area. So come on out. Hey, you can even apply for media credentials if you're interested. There's guys on there who will try to get you all set up for media passes. So I'll send you the guy who does all that if you're interested.
Yeah, no, definitely do, because that'd be great. Debbie and I end up coming out there, and I'll bring Ryan in spirit because I'll wear my Fuji University T-shirt. I'm an alum from there as well, so I'll make sure I put that on there, which I'm pretty sure Fuji's gonna be. He's gonna love that one. So Fuji, if you're listening, it's all about you tonight. He was our guest the other night. He was gonna be our guest here pretty soon again at the rate that he's going. But listen, to everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Also, thank you to Tampa Joe's, PhillySportsTrips.com, to BigStarSports.com, and LGDirect.net. Thank you also to Superdraft Pro for Eagles Mania for always sharing out the page, as we are the official podcast for Eagles Mania. Steel City Renegades, Redline Radio LLC Group. Those guys came off an amazing weekend from the Detroit Power Piston Show. And so God bless Dave Wallencheck, Lee, and the whole gang out there for doing such a fantastic job. And I'm glad it was really successful for them. So we will be back here Tuesday night. Again, the guest that was supposed to happen tonight will be back on Tuesday. And then Thursday, by the way, our guest for Tuesday will be Jay Daniel. And as our national correspondent said, he's wondering if it's going to be Jack Daniels, but we'll find out on Tuesday. So Jay Daniel on Tuesday, followed by Jason Martinez and Jason Martinez and Seth Joyner on Thursday. So tune in again, 8 o'clock on Tuesday, again, 8 o'clock on Thursday. Come out if you live in the area as well, not only to support Dylan and his Dunedin Blue Jays, also for the Tampa Bay Titans at 1701 North Boulevard in Tampa. Game time will be at 6 o'clock on Sunday. So if you live in the area, stop on by. If you're over at Elmwood Works, come on into the game. With that all being said, thank you to Dylan, Ryan, and Debbie over in Studio B. I'm Angel here live. We were at LG Direct Sales Solutions Studios. We will see you all next week. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe and make sure you check out one another. And don't forget, mental health is especially important nowadays. So God bless. Good night. And we'll see you next week.